This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Padre fan? Welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries _ on social media. And you know this, you everydayers in particular. We're here right after every game, live on YouTube, and then we upload, you download. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, you name it, we are there. And then Roku, you're not with OTT. Yeah, you know me. And Padres are not down with offense lately. They lose again tonight. 4-2 the final. I mean, they lost the series to the Reds. Now they're 1-1 with the Rockies. And remember when we were looking at the schedule, Twins, Orioles, oh, look, and they lost those series too. So the Dodgers continue to struggle. They got walked off by the Giants on a grand slam tonight, but that lead's still at 2.5, man. And that is it's just a tough one to swallow when you get 5 hits against the Rockies and you're getting beat. JP Sears on the mound does well the first 3 innings, and then all of a sudden, back-to-back homers in the 4th and a 3-run shot to a kid who's its first home run of his big league career. And, you know, you have too many big games with guys like Sears out there right now. You got him from the A's in the Miller deal, and thinking that, you know, you might have a lefty in that rotation, and it just hasn't worked out that way for JP or for the Padres, and Cortez couldn't be that guy. Now he's on the IL. By the way, David Morgan, another reliever, goes to the IL now with shoulder inflammation. So the rookie goes to the IL, and he's been pitching really well, especially lately, and he's a bright one for the future, I'll tell you that. But they lose 4-2 tonight, only 5 hits. Good news, Manny goes yard. Maybe he's getting that swing back a little bit, but, man, you know, just didn't get much going against Tanner Gordon at all, and Tanner Gordon has not done anything. He's 6-6, you know what I mean? And, you know, just first and second, nobody out, and you don't score. Things like that, you know, just a rough time for the Padres right now, but we're here to break it down and unpack it for you. It's your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, and we are ready to roll. Let's go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Hopefully twice is enough. Blaine Crim. Who? Blaine Crim. 3-run homer. About 450-foot shot, too, off J.P. Sears' first big league hit for Crim. Kyle Farmer homered on the next pitch from J.P. Sears. Hey, you know, you get a couple guys on base and things like that happen. You know, Tanner Gordon combines with 3 relievers, 5-hitter. The Padres have just not been scoring lately. So you could talk about how great the pitching has been against them, but that's not the case. Their offense has really struggled, and they haven't really made too many changes from a coaching standpoint. Offensively, they bring in all these new bats, and the bottom of the lineup, Laureano carrying him, but then Bogarts goes out, and, you know, Merrill comes back, and he's started swinging it a little better, but Fernando never really has gotten it all the way going. It's just been one of those years for the Padres offensively, and with the rotation having been what it's been, it's amazing that they are where they are. That's the bullpen right there for you. So it's the Rockies got on the board for the first time in San Diego this season. They hadn't scored a run in 4 games before tonight in San Diego against the Padres. 41-107. You know, the Padres got them 16-0 in a 3-game sweep in April, and 2-0 last night. But 2 games, 4 runs against the Rockies doesn't cut it. It does not cut the mustard. You can stay 2.5 back all you want, but, man, you should be making up ground right now while the Dodgers are struggling, because what happens when they rip off a hot streak and they get hot? When you get hot, you're not going to pass them. And that's kind of been the case with these 2 teams over the last couple of months. Remember, the Padres were up a game and then up 2 games after those Dodgers series, or going into one they were up, and then after one they were up. So it's been brutal. You know, so 2.5 games behind the Dodgers, 4 games ahead of the Mets in the wild card is what they came in tonight. And they're the second wild card behind the Cubs right now, meaning they wouldn't get that home advantage. So it's interesting. Sears goes to 8-11, right? Hunter Goodman and Jordan Beck single to open the 4th, 2 outs. And you're thinking, okay, you don't walk the rookie. He doesn't have a hit in the big leagues. I don't have a problem with not walking him there, although you load the bases and you have a force at any base and all sorts of stuff going on there. But second deck to left field, and then Farmer, bang, another 400-foot shot on the next pitch. He was just brought up from AAA Albuquerque. You know, he was claimed off waivers from the Rangers in August and appeared in 5 games with the Rangers, and then was put on waivers, claimed there. And yeah, interesting. But Manny hit a homer Laureano had an RBI ground out. Sears was good the first 3 innings. The fourth was, not his time. And then, of course, after that, you got 3 innings from Marinaccio and only 3 hits, no runs. And then Peralta with a scoreless inning. You know what I'm saying? So bad night for Fernando. You might wonder why Fernando gets to be the poster child for the Padres' offensive struggles. Number one, he's their biggest name player, arguably he and Manny. But number 2, he struck out 4 times tonight. Fernando, no dando. You know what I'm saying? So Bradley Blaylock, will he be the next one at 1-4 with an 8.62? Look, last night, McCabe, this kid had a 12 ERA, and you only scored 2 runs in that game. Dylan Cease back on the mound. You never know with him. A whirling dervish of emotions throughout a Dylan Cease start. You could have 10 strikeouts and then have 3 scoreless innings and then a 4 spot and a 5 spot. And so, I don't want to be too up with the wins, too down with the losses, It really is frustrating, though, to continuously come up empty offensively. I know Bogarts is out, but Bogarts is no world beater offensively. O'Hearn's been struggling. Laureano's been struggling. Manny just coming back around. Nobody's hot right now to carry them. Sheets was for a minute. Maybe Manny will get it going again. He carries the offense when he gets hot. So we'll have to see. All right, real quick, Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries, Padres Postcast. Thank you for making us your first watch or listen every day. Myself and Javier Reyes with your Locked On Padres podcast. YouTube, Roku, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, anywhere you get your audio version. And, of course, YouTube and Roku on the video side. Before we hit the first break, we are going to get to one of the benchmarks we do every night here on the show, and that's, of course, where the game in this case went south for the Padres. Let's do the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's an easy turning point. J.P. Sears looked great the first 3 innings against the Rockies. And then, and by the way, Manny had hit a homer. And it's 1-0 Padres. Manny hit a homer in the bottom of the first inning. They got on the board first. You're thinking, all right, it's 1-0. Let's get these bats going. You usually, when you score in the first inning, not always, but, you think like it'll open the floodgates, get the offense going, open some sort of portal, throw all those old bats in there. Help me now, Joe Boo. You know what I'm saying? Major League. Hopefully you guys know that one. I know it's 1989, but it's a timeless baseball classic. So anyway, the turning point, J.P. Sears, 4th inning. Yeah, Goodman singles to left. Beck singles to left. 2 on, nobody out, and you're thinking, uh-oh, here we go. The wheels are coming off for J.P. Sears, but not so fast. The sacrifice bunt moves the runners over, 1 down, then a strikeout. Strikes out Tovar. Huge strikeout for Sears, and you're like, he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, still 1-0. This crowd will go nuts. All the momentum in the world, and then bang, here comes Krim. Blaine Krim. First big league hit is a 440-foot homer off J.P. Sears. It's 3-1 Rockies. And then the next pitch gets hammered 410 feet by Farmer, and it's 4-1. So there's your turning point. All right, and look, it's 4-1. And the way the Padres are hitting right now, 4-1 might as well be 4,000-1. All right, because Fernando struck out as many times as they scored runs, 4. So it's one of those nights, and you're not hitting anyway. The whole lineup's really been struggling again. And it's just happened too many times this season. And you can't blame anybody else but yourselves now. You crapped all over the bottom of the lineup for so long, and rightfully so. But then, the numbers have completely changed. And since when? August 1st? Let me see. I have the number right here. I just texted it to Javi earlier today because I found it in my research. And yeah, Padres offense since August 1st, 6 through 9 hitters. On base percentage, first. OPS, first. Slugging percentage, second. Batting average, second. Okay? They're in 273, 6 through 9 since August 1st, with a 467 slugging, an 828 OPS, and a 360 on base percentage. Those are first and second in the big leagues, those categories. 2 first place, 2 second, right? And it hasn't been this last week or so. But the bottom line is you have nowhere to blame right now. AJ Preller pulled off miraculous what he did at the deadline. Absolutely miraculous. Mike Schilt, that's another story. It's taken him forever to finally have a rise at second and O'Hearn at first. And then, it's probably only because Cronenworth's playing short for Xander. But at least he's doing it. Miller's the closer, not Suarez. He blew one the other night. He brought in Estrada in L.A. and blew a game there. Schilt has blown like 4 or 5 games over the last couple of months just himself. And you can say it's the players. They didn't make the plays, didn't make the pitches. Of course. Of course. And Manny, Nando, all these guys will be like, yo, man, no, we're not getting it done. Of course. That's what they're going to say. They're stand-up guys. Guys like me, media people, we're the ones here to bitch about it for you. Anyway, Padres Postcast. It is what it is, right? Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Couple things to talk to you about here from our sponsors. Incredible offers, incredible companies that we work with here for you. We hope you enjoy the deals and the things that they give to you because you're here with us. So I'm not going anywhere. You aren't either, I hope, and we will take a quick break. It is Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 4-2 Rockies, 2 homers in the 4th inning, a 3-run shot and a solo shot. Krim and Farmer off J.P. Sears, and the Padres, 5 hits, 2 runs tonight. Manny a homer to Laureano and RBI ground out. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. Stay right here. Still to come is the star of the game. Look ahead to tomorrow and talk a little bit more about these offensive struggles. What can they do to jumpstart this team offensively? It's Padres Postcast. Keep it here. Because I get to tell you about Nutrafol, and I love Nutrafol. Why? Because you've seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works, right? Look at Gries. He must be using it if he's doing the commercial. Not true. I'm way more sexy without hair. This is why I'm not regrowing my hair, because I just look better with a bald head at 53. I'm in shape. I'm feeling myself. Got the Stone Cold Goldberg look thing going. Got to stay in shape too. But for me, it is the bald look, but I tried. I did. I had a hair transplant and everything. And if I had Nutrafol back then, that might have been a different story. With so many products out there, it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look, because Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, right? And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested, right, with targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. So whether you're at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine with that hair, right? Simple to add to your day, 4 pills with a meal, no prescription needed, and you can feel good about it knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. That's important. Make sure you see that, right? See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners, viewers, $10 off your first month subscription with a free shipping included. When you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB at Nutrafol, Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB for Nutrafol on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And, of course, you guys know all about FanDuel. Getting action on the action is what you do with FanDuel. The NFL season, it's here, baby, and so is FanDuel to make sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel for so many reasons. It fits however you like to bet. Maybe you like player props. Maybe you like a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. There's nothing more exhilarating than that. Trust me, except when you win, obviously. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sunday. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. 4-2 Rockies, 1-1 in the series, still 2.5 behind the Dodgers because they got walked off on a salame by the Giants tonight. In the 10th inning, was it? A grand slam in San Francisco. Didn't the Giants walk off earlier this year on an inside the Parker by a catcher? I think they did that too, right? Anyway, it's been one of those years in baseball, and the Giants and D-bags are creeping back in because the Dodgers and Padres have been crap recently. And so, man, the Padres are blowing some golden opportunities. They're just not hitting the ball. We'll have the star of the game in a minute. We'll look ahead to tomorrow. But Fernando Tatis Jr. striking out 4 times. Let's start there. What is wrong with Fernando Tatis Jr.? What is wrong with Fernando Tatis Jr.? Why has this guy never gotten to the point where he's slashing? The homers are few and far between, the extra base hits. Day in and day out, he's amazing in right field, makes all kinds of great sliding, leaping, home run robbing catches, all kinds of stuff. His arm, throwing people out. Beautiful throw a couple nights ago, even though he didn't get the tying run, and TJ Friedel just missed him with a perfect throw, actually. Well, it wasn't perfect because it was perfect. It would have gotten him, but as perfect as you can be without getting him. And offensively, just getting on base, drawing walks, stealing bags, taking the extra base, speed killing, situational hitting. He's been great. So the 4 tools have been all there all year for Fernando, but the power has not, and the slashing has not. So even though you got a 3-time batting champ hitting behind you in Louis Gries, who's been heating up a little bit lately, and Manny Machado on the other side of that, Fernando getting on base and scoring runs is great, but not ideal. You need Fernando to hit 30 home runs at least, 35 probably, 100 plus, 120 RBIs. You need that, and you need 40 steals from him, at least 30. So if he's going to hit leadoff. So I think that's been the cause of their struggle offensively all year long, because when your leadoff guy, and especially a superstar like Fernando, I mean, look, the guy's hitting 259. It's not a matter of and he's still, finding ways to help you in games. We're splitting hairs, obviously, but you're expecting a lot more from Fernando Tatis Jr. You just are. You really just are. And when you think about the months that he's had this season, he hit 450 in March, 323 in April, then May 184, June 235, August 243, September he's hitting 216. In July, he managed to hit 308 with 20 walks. So good month in July, real good month in April, and a great start in March for Tati. But it's just been a tough one for him, man. And I know it's a grind. It's a long season. He might have, and he does, everybody does. They have the aches, the pains, the nicks, the knacks, all those stuff all year long, all those things. And you might not be hearing about what could be ailing him. We don't want to cast aspersions or throw stones, but you can start there. Over 4 strikeouts tonight for Fernando. His on-base percentage down to 361. Really tough right now for him. A rise, the average up at 285. He was 1 for 4. Manny 2 for 3, 2 runs and the homer with the RBI. So maybe he's starting to snap out of it, and that'll be a big thing for Manny and the Pods. Sheets had a hit. O'Hearn had a hit. But, man, Laureano's been in a little bit of a slump lately. Sears 4 1/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Really good outing, minus those damn homers. And, I mean, obviously, you give up 2 hits to start the inning. You're working your way through it. You get 2 outs. Second out's a huge strikeout, Tovar. And then you give up Blaine Crimm's first career hit, a 3-run homer, 440 feet. And then Farmer hits the next one, 410. And there you have it. And you're not hitting. You're not scoring. You lose 4-2 no matter what. Marinaccio is great tonight, 3 innings. And then Peralta. So good job there. But I just they did it a couple games last weekend in Colorado. They have to break out offensively and be more consistent scoring runs. The lineup is being changed all the time, and things are being, trying different things is Mike Schilt. But I think lately he's been a little bit more set with O'Hearn at first, a rise at second. Hopefully Cronenworth goes to the bench when Xander comes back, and maybe he makes Miller the closer before the end of the season, which I completely believe he should. All right, real quick before we get out of here, got to get to this one. And this is a tough one tonight for the Padres without many candidates.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Manny, he is bugging. He's back. Manny's back. 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. Had the solo homer in the first inning to get him on the board. Scored 2 runs. Another brilliant diving stop at third with the underhanded bullet across the diamond to throw a guy out. Just a great game again for Manny. Hopefully he gets hot and can carry an offense. Fernando 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts tonight. Real quick, let's check the live chat comments on YouTube. We're here live after the game's on YouTube. Then after the YouTube show, we upload, you download. Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean on the audio side. ROKU on the video side as well. Sears bleep the bed with those homers, says Dodgers suck. Silver lining is that Tanner Scott plays for the Dodgers. Gries help. Yeah, no kidding. Can we please end the Will Wagner experiment? Good Lord, Shilty. I don't know what it is. Is he his nephew or something and we just don't know it? What else do we got here? Well, I think we know what happened. Golden sombrero for Fernando tonight. There we go. By the way, you can come on in anytime during the live YouTube show. Smash that subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're coming your way with more content. And, of course, the game tomorrow night is at 5:40, so we'll be here right after that one as well. Dylan Cease, maybe he can cease this losing streak out of existence and he can have one of those good games like he had last time out, right? And he is in position to do that. He's got electric stuff. It's all kinds of swings and misses, strikeouts, but walks this year have really hurt him. His location just hasn't been there on the secondary pitches. That's been the issue with Dylan Cease this year. The location hasn't been there. Offensively, hopefully Manny's really getting going. I don't see much else right now. Merrill's been giving you a spark here and there. O'Hearn, Laureano and Arise is swinging it pretty well right now. But Fernando's got to figure some stuff out, man. This is getting to be too much. But Dylan Cease taking the mound tomorrow, 5:40 first pitch. We will be here right after with your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget about Javier Reyes every day with the podcast right here on all these same channels, platforms. Give us a like, give us a sub. Come on in with the mailbag and the questions and the comments and all that as well. And don't forget about MLB Game Night, every game, till we crown a World Series champion. Local analysis on a national scale. Go to YouTube, Locked On MLB, or wherever you get your podcasts to find Locked On MLB Game Night on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 4-2 Rockies, the final, 1-1 in the series. Cease tomorrow night, 5:40 first pitch. We're here right after with your postcast. Until then, thank you so much for being here, as always. And remember to keep your game tight and your mind right, baby. Jim Gries, and I am out.